we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin yang, come along.
Well, welcome along to Indiana Sports Beat. Jim Coyle with you as always. Thanks a lot for taking us along wherever you're going, whatever you may be doing. Thanks a lot for taking Indiana Sports Beat along for the ride. Justin Kalen high top the crew chief's box as always.
That's right.
Warm but wet outside, but I'll take it. We got a lot to get to on the program today. It's National Signing Day in college football. We will talk to Matt Weaver from Peaks.com. He's got all the IU recruits memorized, categorized, and prophesized. But a lot to get to on that. Look forward to that. Also, Sean Bach is from 247 Sports, Hawkeye Insider. We'll get a little preview on the IU-Iowa game as well. Plenty to get to on the show. Let's get to the headlines first with Justin.
All right, here are your Daily Hoosier headlines for the 6th day of February 2019. The Indiana Pacers handed LeBron James the worst loss of his career last night in a 136-94 win. Yes, that is a 42-point loss for LeBron James. Today is National Signing Day as IU football looks to snag their final recruits. And in Big Ten action last night, Michigan defeats Rutgers 77-65. And Illinois beats Michigan State 79-74. Those are your Daily Hoosier headlines for this February 6, 2019. For more information, go to thedailyhoosier.com.
Unbelievable. Michigan State goes down again on the road this time to Illinois. And which, I keep talking. You cannot sleep in the Big Ten. But, wow. That's three losses in a row for Michigan State. They should fire Tom Izzo. He don't know what the hell he's doing there. What the hell?
That Indiana win's not aging well.
Yeah, well, Indiana did it on the road, number one.
True.
They did it without Juwan Morgan, number two. They did it without Rob Finney, basically, number three. So, but it would have looked a lot nicer had Michigan State won that game. I'm sure Tom Izzo is scratching his head. And I'm sure that Purdue is happy as they can be. Purdue's is closer to a Big Ten title this year than they were last year.
Hard to believe.
It's shocking. Shocking. They're not that good. The schedule is laid out for them a little nicer, I think. I mean, they're not that good. They're not Big Ten champion good. Sorry.
They're still a half game behind Michigan, for what it's worth.
Well, yeah, but they've only got to play. They've already played Michigan and Michigan State, I think, too. So it's set up for them. Michigan's the toughest road to hoe, I think. I think they have 5 games against the Big Ten's top 5 teams left, which is good. Good for them. Indiana's been getting drilled with playing all these top teams, and they're still not done. They have Iowa coming in tomorrow night, who's a top 20 team. They have yet to play Michigan State again, Purdue again.
Got to play at Iowa.
At Iowa, Wisconsin. Wow. Their strength of schedule has got to be stratospheric. That's the thing about the Big Ten. Anybody in the Big Ten's got a strength of schedule that is extraordinarily high.
That's why I saw 2 or 3 brackets yesterday, or bracket predictions, bracketology, I guess is what they call it. 10 Big Ten teams. Yeah,
well, I mean, we've been saying that. It's the thing is, a lot of times when you see a conference, they're deep, it weeds itself out. This one's not. These guys, Illinois is a perfect example. I don't care that Michigan State's lost 3 in a row. They're still a damn good team. It's a great It's a great win for them. Not going to do them any good. That's something to build on. That's Illinois is a program that's on the rise. They'll be coming out of the ashes of the Big Ten here very soon. They've got a 5-star coming in. Their recruiting's going well. The Big Ten is not looking to slow down any.
Nope.
I mean, I think Iowa's recruiting is good. We know Indiana's is going to be good. The Big Ten is not. I don't see it slowing down. John Beilein is not going to forget how to coach.
Archie forgot how to coach, so you never know.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder what all those people are saying now, but we'll see. But the Big Ten is tougher than nails, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we've said that, but I don't think people really get just how tough that it truly is.
How does the Big Ten stack up against both the ACC and the SEC in your mind?
They're the best. Big Ten's the best conference in the country. They are deep beyond deep. There might be the ACC with Duke. You may have a better team.
Well, you got Duke, Virginia, and Carolina all in the top 7.
Well, yeah.
But that's about it. Well, Louisville.
They haven't really beat up on each other that much yet. And the ACC Big Ten Challenge, that came out a tie.
Mm-hmm.
The Big Ten should have won that. I think it was Purdue that got upset at Florida State. Really shouldn't have happened. But top to bottom, the Big Ten is just deeper. You may have, like I said, Duke may be the best team out of that bunch. That's fine. That's a team. Conference-wise, deep, top to bottom. There's why that you're talking about 10 teams going in the NCAA tournament. How many teams out of the ACC or SEC?
Right. Yeah, no, that's just a debate I've been having a lot lately. A bunch of SEC fans want to try to say that their conference.
Well,
is
of course
as
they
good as
always
Big Ten.
do. They always want to say that.
So finally, I had to concede, and I was like, all right, I'll give you all the top teams. Big Ten's better from top to bottom. But I didn't even like conceding that because I think the Big Ten's better at the top.
Well, no, you got Tennessee.
Yeah, but you've got Michigan, Michigan State.
Michigan State's has lost 3 in a row.
That's true.
And they just lost to Illinois and Indiana to on top of that. It's kind of hard to throw them in at the best at the top.
Yeah.
So you got Tennessee, which is probably as good as people think that they're the better team, but that's okay. It's a better team. But even if you got Tennessee and Kentucky, you've got Michigan, Michigan State, they wash out.
Yeah.
Pretty close. But after that, it's not even a comparison. Well, you got a couple more teams in the SEC, and that's it? Man, you got 10 deep that are going to the NCAA tournament. Yeah. Well, as of right now. It's not even an argument. It's not even a discussion.
And that's been my thing all week.
That's whoever you're talking to, just ask them, say,
just
10 to 4.
Well,
whatever,
no, finally I broke it down by top 25 because the one guy specifically wanted to argue top 25, and I was like, well, SEC, I went through count. SEC had 4 top 25 teams, 1 receiving votes. Big Ten had 5 top 25 teams and 3 receiving votes. It's like simple math, buddy, 5 to 8.
It is.
Big Ten's better.
It's a deeper, tougher conference.
Yeah.
I mean, especially compared to the SEC. They don't. I'm sorry. You don't. You still do not get to come to that argument. You don't come to that party. You're at the little table, at the kids' table still.
Now, football, yeah, you can have that argument every year. But
yeah, agreed. Hey, hit us up on the text line. Any comments, questions, thoughts, whatever. That number is 812-269-6367. And like and follow us on Facebook. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Jim Coyle ISB. Keep up with all the updates. You can find us on Apple Play, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play. Of course, you can listen live, dailyhoosier.com, or on Big X Sports Radio, 1450, 96.1. Lots of ways to find the show. Todd Leary will be with us on Friday. Probably going to do an extended after the game, since the Iowa game is a 9 o'clock tip. It won't get over till after 11 o'clock. We wouldn't get on until 11:30, so we're not going to do a post-game show this week. But we'll do an extended one on Friday morning, but we'll be back Sunday, of course, for the Ohio State game. Hopefully Indiana can get on a little streak here.
Yeah.
Run off some wins.
The opportunity's there.
It's absolutely there. Absolutely there. And college basketball is just going to continue to show its face of parity. Last night, a lot of good games. A lot of teams playing. Again, Illinois beating Michigan State. Not as much of a shocker. It was on at home for Illinois, and it's coming on the heels of Michigan State already losing 2 in a row. And they're still reeling with the fact they lost Josh Langford. Now, I don't feel sorry for him because Indiana's lost tons of guys throughout the season. But do you think that Tom Izzo forgot how to coach all of a sudden? Do you think they just got worse all of a sudden? People, you got to understand, when changes happen, when there's an action, there's a reaction. And losing Josh Langford was an action for them. They have not adjusted well enough for it yet.
A couple big storylines last night. Did you see Kansas State beat Kansas?
I didn't know that they beat them. I thought that I thought Kansas came back, but that's huge.
So Kansas is 6-4 in the Big 12.
Uh-oh.
Streak could be over.
Uh-oh.
And then also
no more tweets to the James Gatto thanking you for the daggone it. Why didn't you get me some clean recruits, man?
Only D'Souza could have played.
Yeah, man, if you could have just been clean about it.
And then how about NC State against North Carolina? They lost by nearly 20, but NC State scored 4 times the points they did on, what was it, Sunday?
Yeah, I still can't. I don't understand that. 23, 4 points, whatever the hell they had.
Scored 96 last night.
Let's see, how's that possible? And again, Indiana fans, you don't understand the inequities, the changes, the variables that affect games so much. I mean, Indiana losing 7 in a row, they act like it was the end of the world, which it sucked, I granted. But it wasn't because Archie figured out how to coach. It wasn't because they don't have any talent. There's a lot of variables, man. Getting things together, getting cohesiveness, getting a unit, getting a consistency. Well, they didn't have guys around to have consistency. Who the hell was there on a consistent basis besides Romeo? I mean, they've all been in and out. Finney, Juwan. Every one of them rotating. It's tough. Ask Tom Izzo if it's not. It is. It absolutely is. Hit us up on the text line, like I said, 812-269-6367. Comments, questions for any of the guests coming up today. Man, I can't believe how warm it is. Yeah. And it's going to drop, of course, again. Yeah. I saw Friday. It was back into the teens. Mm-hmm. Ridiculous.
Did you see how much rain we're supposed to get?
No.
2 to 5 inches.
When?
From yesterday until Friday morning.
Nice.
Perfect. 5 inches.
Unbelievable. Yeah, Kansas State upending Kansas. That's going to be a nice little end to 14-year run where Kansas has won the Big 8.
Big 12.
Big 12, Big 8. Oh, I can't believe I called it the Big 8. I can't believe that came
That's been a while.
It's been all kinds of stuff. But 14 years in a row. But, of course, I know why. When you're sending text to James Gatto from Adidas thanking him for the recruit that just fell into your lap. Oh, look at this, a 5-star.
Karma.
Exactly. We'll look forward to it. We got a lot coming up on the program today. As I said, it's National Signing Day in college football. We're going to talk to Matt Weaver from Peaks.com and get all that straightened out, who's going to where. Sean Bach from 247 Sports, Hawkeye Insider. We'll get a little preview of the Indiana Hoosiers and the Hawkeyes on tomorrow night. We'll be back with all that and more on Indiana Sports Beat right after this.
All the girls, they adore me. Oh, yes, ladies. I'm really being sincere, because in this, I'm a Humpty Nose will tickle you. My nose is big. I'm not ashamed.
This is Jim Coyle. When I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area or just meet friends for happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, you want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. You can follow us on Facebook or at indianasportsbeat.com. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. We don't miss a beat. Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry.
All my friends know the low rider.
I get so excited when I hear that song because you know it only means one thing. Chronic Hoosiers with us. Chronic, how are you, my friend?
Oh, man, I'll tell you what. The sun's a little brighter. The coffee's a little hotter. It is a markedly improved week from the last time we talked.
My, oh my. As I watched that, actually before I watched that game, I was with Todd Leary. We were doing a post-game show afterwards, but we were at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. And before somebody was sitting next to me, they were just enjoying a nice beverage and a meal and asked me, did Indiana get a chance in this game? And I'm like, not a snowball's chance in hell. And that's how I truly felt from what I had seen in the 7 games prior to this. And man, oh man, was I ever glad to be as wrong as I could be. But my gosh, what an effort, what a game. And I've talked ad nauseum about everything to do with it, the fact that they had lost those 7 games, that they lost Juwan Morgan, that they basically didn't have Rob Finney, and they're in a place they'd only won twice in 30 years. It's still, I'm still trying to wrap my head around that unbelievably improbable, miraculously beautiful win.
I was doing some research earlier. I think there's a total of 28 games, at least in the database, going back to 1995, where Indiana's been an underdog by at least 14 points. Coming into that game, they'd won 0 of those games. You have to go back to 2010 to find Indiana win a game in which they were at least a double-digit dog. versus Penn State. But this is probably the most improbable win I can think of, not just in the aggregate of the point total and the spread and everything else, but when you look at just what type of a shape, what position the Hoosiers came into this game finding themselves in. Michigan State, I don't think you can understate, how unlikely it is for them to lose a home game, having just dropped the matchup they had at Purdue. It just improbable in every sense of the word. I mean, honestly. And I'll say this much too, man. It's kind of a perfect storm of scenarios for this one to come out victorious. Indiana had to do a number of things right. I think probably the greatest of which is they just hit some dang shots. I mean, quite honestly, the ability to knock down the 3-point shot completely changes the effectiveness of this offense right now. But when you take it into context of, like you said, losing Juwan Morgan after playing only 13 minutes, basically, the Rob Tennessee, what limited minutes he gave us was just effectively a wash as well. Just unbelievable how much this team had to step up across the line. And, I think it bears mentioning, too, it also required a pretty good stroke of luck for Michigan State to do a lot of things poorly. Credit to the Hoosiers for pulling that one out. Michigan State shoots anywhere close to their free throw percentage, particularly with Nick Ward. Different outcome, I think. But, man, take them how you can get them. Any game in the Big Ten on the road, obviously, is going to be one that you cherish. But to win that game in that fashion, I'd have bet the mortgage after Romeo missed on that final shot of regulation, which was still kind of a head-scratcher. But obviously no harm, no foul. But I'd have bet the mortgage after that shot missed wildly that Michigan State was going to rally in overtime. You felt like there was no way this team had enough left in the tank, considering what they had left on the floor at that time. Just a huge testament to the team, to the coaching staff. Their level of engagement from whistle to whistle was really something that I don't think we've seen since the Marquette game. Probably a high point from an energy and execution standpoint in the Archie Miller era, honestly.
Yeah, it blows my mind that Indiana did so many of the things that they had seemed incapable of doing leading up to this point. Mainly, that was getting production from people not named Romeo or Juwan, which they got a lot of. They had 5 players in double figures. The bench points were huge. They had more bench points this game than they probably had in the last 10 games combined.
I think at least 3. It's been it was a sight for sore eyes. I'll tell you what, I saw a lot of nonsense in my timeline over the last couple of weeks about Deron Davis's contribution to this team, and I'll tell you what, he was a man. He was an absolute man in the literal and figurative sense.
None bigger.
One thing that he brings to this team, his strength, particularly from his buttocks down,
I'm telling you,
is unrivaled in Indiana. And I don't think there's anybody, Nick Ward is a beast in a double-team situation. I don't know that Indiana has anybody even remotely close of handling him one-on-one. To see the way in which Deron could not only hold position against him, but do so without fouling. And I know that's something Deron has battled for a good portion of his career at Indiana. But, when you put it in the context of him coming off of, a string of injuries like he has, just an absolute beast of a performance and being able to hold Michigan State's bigs, to account when they dropped it down low, especially after Juwan went out. I don't know that you can put enough importance on the job he did, and not the least of which was just his ability to stay on the floor on the road. That is such an easy environment to find yourself in early foul trouble, especially when you've got an offense that's going to bring it at you. And they did quite a bit. So huge kudos to Deron. And, as we're handing out the praise, Devontae Green, man, not knowing where exactly his head was going to be coming back from the 3-game suspension. This is one of those where, we've said it before, Devontae is best when he's playing on a razor's edge. And when you're that type of player, we've made the analogy, it's like Troy Williams. It's so easy to lose control when the line is so incredibly fine between where the energy has to be versus where it's out of control. And, Devontae, particularly from the 3-point line, that's a tough game to win without Devontae's contribution from deep.
Oh, absolutely. Both of those guys. Deron Davis, first of all, plays 25 minutes. I didn't think we were going to see him at all because I thought he was parked, still trying to get healthy. They brought him back a little too soon, admittedly, Coach Miller said. And I didn't think he was going to even play, but to not only to play, but to play 25 minutes with that production he brought it. And he's one of the most confident guys on the team because they had lost all that confidence. I think Deron's one of those guys that hadn't. He's like, just give me the opportunity. And I think you saw what you can get from him. It's like last year. He played against Marvin Bagley III when Duke came in. He battled that guy toe-to-toe, and so he's got the capabilities. It just having this team be healthy. Mike Schumann from the Daily Hoosier put out a telling stat that Indiana's lost one game this year, and that's at Duke, where Devontae and Deron both play 5 minutes or more. They've only lost one time. That shows you that not having the pieces in place kind of really handcuffs you when you and having 8 guys to have missed games because of injury this year. It makes all the difference in the world, and you're making all the perfect points. But these guys were not been available, and it shows what this team is capable of if they can get them back and keep them back.
Oh, those guys are 40% of your upperclassmen. I mean, including McRoberts in this, even though he's a walk-on. Obviously, he's a pretty big contributor when he's healthy to this team. I don't know that you can overstate how important the leadership on this team is from the upperclassmen. We talked about it last week. There's been a pretty significant void of leadership. Basically the entire role of leading this team was heaped on Juwan's shoulders, and we've talked ad nauseum about how important it is for other guys to step up. And nobody's in a better position to do that than some of the team's upperclassmen. And, to see Devontae come off the suspension, to see Deron come off the injury, they led by example. They absolutely led by example, and I think you saw it resonate. Credit to the staff as well for a team that's come out and just struggled like nothing I've ever seen out of the gates. These guys were locked in. They were engaged on both ends of the floor. You look at the connectivity of the team. The way in which they were really crisp in their rotations on defense. I think what stood out to me as well, I believe he had 23 assists. No, I'm sorry, that was Michigan State. Hoosiers assisted on 21 baskets, if I'm not mistaken, out of 28 made baskets. So the ball was moving. Archie praised him in his post-game press conference, sometimes making that extra pass. Just what a difference it makes. But at the end of the day, too, man, none of those passes really matter unless you're putting it in the basket. And, the confidence they demonstrated, and you could see it in the way they were stroking the ball. They believed in themselves for the first time, probably since the first half of the Maryland game, at least outwardly visible. You could tell this was a team that not only believed in themselves, but came into the game prepared for a rock fight. Credit to Arch for getting them to engage in that, because I didn't think the team was capable of, to be honest with you.
No, you made a great point. The assist to baskets, 21 on 28 shots, that has not been the case for Indiana much very often this year. And to see the ball game distributed by Romeo had 4 assists, Devontae Green had 5 assists, and our boy Deron Davis had 4 assists. So, again, his presence showing up in so many different areas. But they were much more team-oriented against Michigan State. They going into that game, talking with Todd, we do a lot of the post-game stuff. He just said that this team didn't look like they were having fun together. And that to me, and that was true to me up until that game against Michigan State. They looked very in concert and linked in. I mean, guys were looking for other guys, whether it was Devontae or Romeo, finding other people or doing what they needed to do. They looked like a team for maybe the first time in a long time this year.
Unquestionably. And I think, obviously this is a pretty big win for Indiana. What they do with it from here, though, going forward, with Iowa coming in, they've got to sustain it. As you mentioned before I jumped on with you guys, we've got, I believe, 6 home games remaining. The next one coming, obviously, back at Assembly Hall this Thursday against Iowa. The way in which they're going to build upon that momentum to carry it into this home stretch here where they've got 3 of the next 4 at home before they have to go back on the road to Iowa, not the least of which culminating with the Purdue game. But, there's, even though we've talked about the schedule kind of lightens up a little bit on the back half, it's still an incredibly difficult Big Ten. Just looking at Iowa, Ohio State, Minnesota, and Purdue, I mean, in any conference in America right now, that's a tough stretch no matter where you're playing those games. And Indiana currently finds themselves tied for 9th in the conference right now, in a tie with Rutgers. I think the big thing, especially when you're dealing with a young team right now, is not let them get too high. No differently than it's important for a coach not to let them get too low after losses, particularly when you're coming out of the back end of that stretch. I think it's going to be important for them to remember what it was that enabled them to pull off this upset at East Lansing, and find some way that you can build upon that. Obviously you're probably not going to have, hopefully you're not going to have sustained stretches without Juwan. One thing you guys were talking about before I jumped on as well, when it talks about Al Durham's injury. I don't know if you guys saw Cliff Marshall's face when he sat down on the bench next to him.
No, I saw Jerome Hunter's, though.
Oh, my God. If I had to bet, I would have thought it was a compound fracture. I've seen those in my life, and there's few injuries that draw that visceral, that physical of a reaction.
Oh, I was laughing.
So hopefully that doesn't affect his play too terribly much. I think it's a testament to how tough that kid is, though, that he was able to come back in the game. Now, again, though, let's see what they can do, what they can build off of this, because it's really easy. Momentum is a fickle thing, and you can lose it just as easy as you can gain it. And IU, they have to continue to play with that urgency. I think that was one of the things that perhaps propelled them a little bit at Michigan State, was knowing exactly how dire it was. I'm sure those guys were tired of hearing, idiots like you and me talk about it. They've got to keep that fire in their belly, because you let up for a second and things can still continue to spiral on you. So obviously you want to have a short-term memory, but you want to keep connected with the things they did well, not the least of which, though, I think was everybody's work rate. This was as good as I've seen them move with the ball, move off the ball. They were as defensively keyed in as we've seen perhaps since the Marquette game. And that's obviously going to be the key for a team like Indiana going forward, is no matter whether or not the shots are falling. Because let's be honest, there's going to be far and few nights in between where this team's going to shoot 50% from deep. But I think the lesson here is when they stay engaged on the defensive end throughout the course of the game, not just for stretches of 10 minutes at a time, but throughout the game, they're going to find themselves in position to win late.
Absolutely, and without that three-point shooting, they don't win this game. And Michigan State helped by missing a lot of free throws, but their two-point shooting was horrific, to be honest with you. They shot 39%, but because they were able to knock down some threes, and they were hitting their own free throws while Michigan State was not, they did what they needed to do and provided the defensive effort like you talked about. But those are things they're going to have to do. They're going to have to continue to hit that three ball, man. I'm not saying they got to hit 15 a game, but they've got to hit better than 3 or 4 of 20. They cannot be shooting 18, 19, 20% out there and expect to win games. But there can't be anything more critical than what you've said about how they go forward. I've talked about that a lot. They've got to win this game at home against Iowa, because if they don't, then that win against Michigan State, it's all for nothing. You've got to maintain it, got to do what you got to do. You got to take care of business. They've got a clear and present path to sustainability and the NCAA tournament, in my mind. You've got 6 out of 9 games at home. I think that if they're 9-11 or 10-10 in the Big Ten, there's no question they're in the NCAA tournament, especially with the Big Ten being the way it is this year.
Oh, no, yeah, I mean, a lot of folks, I think early season returns were quick to discount the Marquette win, quick to discount the Louisville win. Butler doesn't shine as bright as it did previously, but I'll tell you what, you look at the combination of Marquette, Louisville, and now you throw up a road win at Michigan State.
Huge.
That's something the selection committee is going to be hard-pressed not to put a lot of value in.
Yeah, because if they win more games, then if they win more, that means they would have beaten Purdue. You got to play Michigan State again. You got to play Wisconsin. So not only do they have opportunities for wins, they got opportunities for quality wins.
There's a ton of resume wins available to them. I mean, honestly, everything pretty much but the Illinois, the Rutgers game, perhaps Minnesota. We'll see where they finish up. That's borderline looking like it could be a top 50 win at the end of the season as well. It's certainly on the table for them. We talk about Europe. It's not just your opinion. Most bracketologists have us back on the right side of the bubble right now. It's their destiny's in their hands at this point, though. They've just got to protect the home court. Obviously, if they can steal one on the road, that one out of Illinois. More than anything, you look at the recency bias of the selection committee. I don't know that that's going to heavily tip the scales, but that's certainly a late opportunity in their last road game to really bolster that resume heading into the Big Ten tournament.
Couldn't agree more with you. Chronic Hoosier, we're so thankful to have you each and every week, man. Look forward to it.
happy not to be pulling my hair out this week. We'll get to next time.
We'll look forward to it again. Have a good Thursday as the Indiana Hoosiers take on Iowa, and we'll talk to you again next week, Cronic. Thank you, sir. And also talking today to Sean Bach from 247 Sports, Hawkeye Insider, about that Indiana-Iowa game. Preview a little bit. Also, Matt Weaver will be on the program. It's National Signing Day in college football. Who's going where? Who got what? We'll find out today. More coming back on Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle right after this.
Now, teacher, don't you feel me? Up with your rules, or everybody knows that smoking ain't allowed.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat.
And I'm Justin Kalen with Indiana Sports Beat.
Justin, what's your favorite show?
It's got to be Indiana Sports Beat, but I'm not ever sure where to find it.
Well, you can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for it each and every day. Or, of course, on Big X Sports Radio, 1450, 96.1 WXVW in Southern Indiana, and 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
This hour is brought to you by Sweetland Waste and Removal Service, a homegrown company serving Southern Indiana since 1995.
I see trouble on the way.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle here on this 6th day of February. Thanks a lot for joining us. It's college football signing day. We're going to be talking to Matt Weaver from Peaks.com in the next hour. See who's going where. What Indiana, how they can add to a pretty good recruiting class already. But there's a few spots that I'm looking to see where DeJuan Jones ends up. The big man from Ben Davis High School.
Yeah.
Who, dude, I fell in love with this dude's game at the Junior All-Star game last year, basketball. Big 6'8", dude. Wasn't getting a lot of love in football nor basketball until that Junior All-Star game, of which he came off, not off the bench, but off the couch. Literally. He gets a phone call from a coach saying, hey, man, we're shorthanded. Is there any way you could help us out? Yeah. He comes out and, what do you have, a double-double, 25 points or something crazy? Yeah. Big man, 6'8".
I remember you coming back from that weekend, and you were all about some DeJuan Jones.
I love it ever since then. But look what's happened ever since then.
Sure.
He blew up. He's got football offers from all over the country. USC, Indiana, of course. But then, of course, you saw the picture of him adding on his visit to Indiana with not just the football equipment on, but the basketball equipment.
Think he'll pull a James Hardy and try to play both if he goes to Indiana?
Hey, he would be worth having on the roster as a big man you can throw in there for a couple minutes. You can get 5 minutes out of that dude with that big ass of his. I'm not kidding. He'd do some damage. Why do you think Deron Davis is having some success now? He's got that big butt, and he uses it as a sweeper, man. Clear that pain out. Strong, strength. DeJuan Jones is a strong man, and he's tough down there. He's worth having on the roster.
Sure. Well, especially for football.
I
mean, for basketball, yeah, he's worth having on the roster.
Hell, of course he is for football.
Yeah.
But, I mean, for basketball, he's worth having on the roster.
Sure.
He's worth, as opposed to some of the guys that are on teams that are just sit at the end of the bench, this guy can offer something. Like I said, if it doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes a game, he can make life difficult for. He's like a middle reliever or something. He just comes in something different. The guys that the batters aren't used to seeing, and before they can figure it out, he's gone. I'd like to say I wouldn't mind it. Wouldn't mind it a bit.
Be fun.
I like his game. But today is college football signing day, so see how that turns out. Indiana, I think they only have like 4, 5, 6 spots that they can even fill after the early signing period. But we'll have Matt Weaver on, and we'll get all up to date on that from Peaks.com. College basketball last night we talked about. Kansas goes down to Kansas State. They're 6-4 in the Big 12 now. That 14-year run at the top of the conference looking more and more in doubt. Kind of hard to do that when you don't have the players that have been given to you by Adidas.
Yeah.
D'Souza ruled ineligible. And then they were all indignant about it. That's what cracks me up. How could you do this? This is not fair. This kid can't play, by God, just because he got paid and it's against the rules. You cheated. And they deservingly don't have their 2 best recruits, and they deservingly are not doing what they've been doing. That's why college basketball is the way it is. So it'll be a little more fun when it's not Kansas, Duke, and Kentucky every year.
Yeah.
And now that this little recruiting ring is being broken up, watch. Watch how it happens. Kansas is already being affected, obviously. They have been without their 2 best players. The one was because of injury, though, right? Didn't the one guy get hurt?
Yeah, Azubuike.
Yeah, Azubuike got hurt. But D'Souza, I think that's the guy that Bill Self sent the thank you text.
Correct.
To James Gatto or Dawkins, whoever it was, from Adidas, thanking him for his help in landing him.
You think D'Souza sticks around at Kansas?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
Why would he?
Right.
He's not even in class now, probably. He's done, man. He just got to spend his year to become 19 so he can go to the NBA.
Yeah.
Now, when that rule changes, that's what I'm looking so forward to that rule change. That in and of itself will do a lot to give college basketball even more parity.
Why did they even change that in the first place?
Probably trying to, I'd have to go back and investigate it, but my guess would be to prevent kids from jumping to the NBA.
But why? Why should you prevent that? I mean, if you're 18 and you're good enough to go get any job in the country, why can't you do it?
I'm sorry. Did
NBA
you ask
included.
I'm sorry. Did you just ask a common sense question regarding the NCAA and Muppet Mark?
I did. Yep.
Do you need me to answer that question for you? Muppet Mark Emmert and the rest of those clowns at the NCAA who should be disbanded. The NCAA is a joke. A joke, a joke. And Mark Emmert is the biggest clown of the joke. That's what his Muppet character should be, a clown. A clown Muppet. Because that's exactly what he is. He's a clown Muppet. I can see him just sitting there right now in his little clown Muppet suit, dancing back and forth with the music. My name is Mark Emmert. I'm with the NCAA, and we're a useless organization.
Better turn that off before we get more singing.
It's just a joke. They're a joke. What is their purpose? Don't tell me it's a student athlete. That's a crap joke.
Yeah.
It's to make money is all they do. Make money for the college. Well, they can probably make their own money. And there's been suggestion that the Power Five take over. Why shouldn't they? They're the ones running the train. They are the train. Who the hell is the NCAA? Just some organization that came out of where? It's a pompous, bureaucratic bunch of crap.
You know what the NCAA stands for?
A lot of things, but please give me your...
I was asking, like, legit.
National Collegiate Athletic Association.
That makes sense.
You did not...
I couldn't put it together.
Oh, God.
If I'd have taken an extra
I could have done without that
minutes.
today, man.
It's before 7 a.m.
Gee whiz. MPH. You know what?
I knew that. No, I feel like an idiot. I knew that.
MPH. You know what MPH stands for?
Miles per hour.
Yeah. Oh, wow. He got one.
Could be go.
All right.
I'm typically pretty good with anagrams, but not that one.
Well, this one's been around for a little bit. We talk about it kind of periodically. Comes up every now and then in discussion here on this program. They're an organization that governs college sports.
Mostly wrong.
But they're a joke to me. The Rice Commission, another joke. I mean, they are the biggest joke in. It just kills me. These idiots are in charge of all this and making billions of dollars. Well, let's bring in Condoleezza Rice to run the college sports. That sounds about right. She knows nothing. She'll fit right in. That's one thing. She fit right in with the rest of them that don't know a damn thing about what they're doing. Well, they do. They know exactly what they're lining their pockets.
Well, take the job.
And they do it in a very, and they manage college athletics in a very inconsistent manner. Their purpose is understood. I don't know, though, that they understand their purpose. They've lost sight of what their actual purpose was. And you've got people in charge that clearly just don't know what they're doing. Mark Emmert is a joke. Joke. Capital J-O-K-E, joke.
With an exclamation point.
He is a Muppet. He's got less sense than a Muppet. I'd rather have a conversation with a Muppet than Mark Emmert. Clown. 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 But guess whose fault this is? This is the college. This is the university's fault. They're in charge. They know what the hell they're doing, so it's not just the NCAA. They're in bed with these colleges. Every one of them. Because they have the ability to stand up and to govern themselves as a unit, as a group, not individually. And there needs to be that independent body, but it needs to be one that's actually looking out for the people it's supposed to be looking out for, not looking out for itself. And that's all I see the NCAA doing, looking out for itself. Because March Madness, college basketball, has become such the juggernaut. It's a runaway freight train.
Tim texted into the show, says, need more Jim singing so I can laugh on the way to work.
Man, if that doesn't make you laugh, I'll tell you.
Or make you
cry.
Or make you wreck.
Cry. Or make you cry. Or make you cry. But yeah, that's couldn't resist. That song just makes you want to sing. And I can just see Mark Emmert dancing and singing and being a Muppet. He is a Muppet. Hey, hit us up on the text line if you'd wish. 812-269-6367. You can like and follow us on Facebook at Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Find the show anytime. If you don't find it live on Big X Sports Radio 1450 96.1, you can find us at a myriad of places: iTunes, Apple Play, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Seems to be a lot of people's favorite. Of course, you can listen live each day at thedailyhoosier.com or sign up at indianasportsbeat.com to have each and every episode delivered to you. Of course, I think they do that if you're on like iTunes and Spotify. Does it just kind of download for you? I don't know how it works.
Me neither. Just technology, man.
Just do what it do, man. It's right there. It's there available for you. So you don't have to miss an episode. You don't have to miss any of the great interviews we have. Todd Leary's going to be along on Friday. We're going to do a extended after the game with Todd Leary, since we will not be doing a post-game show Thursday night because Indiana's game is a 9 o'clock tip. We won't get over till after 11. We wouldn't get on till 11:30. I'm in bed by then, usually.
A lot of people are going to be upset about that. You know that, right?
Well, I've tried to tell them, but really, who's going to be up at 11:30, man? A lot of people.
If I knew I could get the good insight from Jim Coyle and Todd Leary, I'd probably hang up an extra hour.
A lot of people will be up, but it's for Todd's benefit because we're live. We're on site when we do that.
Yeah.
So, but we'll be back on Sunday next year when we do it. I think in those instances, we either will go ahead and do a post-game show or we'll do a pre-game show. Huh.
Not a bad idea.
Little options. It's always good to have options. Or we will do it on Friday. You know what? That's a thought. I may do that somewhere Friday night. Good idea. Keep them rolling, man. Good idea. Good text. Keep the ideas rolling. I like that. What do y'all think? Let us know. Hit me up on the messages. What about a post-game show a day later on Friday? Would that work? Why not? You know? I have to talk to Todd about that.
It's kind of where I'm at. Why not?
Why not? Talk to Todd.
News will still be relevant.
I may have to change the name of the show to Talk to Todd. Talk to Todd.
Got a nice ring to it.
He has the best name. He has the greatest name of all time. I'm like, I love that name. Because each episode is actually a Toddcast.
Ooh.
I got to give him credit. He came up with that, man. He came up with that. He sent that to me, and I went, oh, my goodness.
That's really good.
I went, I like that.
Make sure to catch the Toddcast.
Oh, golly. So that's what I'm going to start calling when I promote it. Catch the Toddcast after the game with Todd Leary. Yeah. Pretty cool. It's pretty funny. So he's creative. He's creative as well. Hey, we got a lot coming up on the program today. If you got any questions in regards to college football signing day, get them in. Or in regards to, we're going to be talking to Sean Bach from 247 Sports, Hawkeye Insider. A little preview on the Indiana-Iowa game tomorrow. Matt Weaver from Peaks.com will be along. We're going to talk about college football's National Signing Day today. Indiana is going to be trying to bolster that recruiting class, a good recruiting class that they've signed thus far. What all that they can add to that. DeJuan Jones is making his announcement. He's not doing his deal until like 6 o'clock tonight. So
going to make you wait.
Golly, I'm disappointed, man.
He's got a tough choice, though.
What are his lists? Do you have it?
I don't have it pulled up. I could probably find it pretty quick. I know it's Indiana, Ohio State.
USC. It's extensive. I think Mississippi State maybe. Ole Miss. He's got them from all over.
USC, Florida, Penn State, Ohio State, and Indiana.
Well, that ain't all.
That's his top 5.
Okay. He cut his top 5 down.
No, it's not a final 5. It's a top 5. Remember, it's all about the wording.
Crap.
He could pick somebody outside of this, but these are his top 5.
All right, who's his top 5? Indiana, Ohio State, Penn State,
USC, and Florida.
USC and Florida. Wow.
Pretty good list.
Let's see. Do I want to go to Gainesville? Do I want to go blah, blah, blah? We'll talk about all this and more coming up in the next hour. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Stay tuned. We're back after this.
No sunshine.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat.
And I'm Justin Kalen with Indiana Sports Beat.
Justin, what's your favorite show?
It's got to be Indiana Sports Beat, but I'm not ever sure where to find it.
Well, you can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on Big X Sports Radio, 1450, 96.1 WXVW in Southern Indiana, and 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become one in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Well, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin yang, come along.
Welcome along to Indiana Sports Beat. Jim Coyle here with you as always. February 6, 2019. Soggy bottom day, that's for sure, as the rain is coming down. Thanks a lot for joining us wherever you're going, whatever you may be doing. Thanks a lot for taking Indiana Sports Beat and Jim Coyle along. On the ride, Justin Caitlin, high top, the crew chief's box as always.
That's right.
Got a lot to get to today. It is National Signing Day in college football. We will be talking to Matt Weaver from Peaks.com, see who Indiana's going to be adding to an already good recruiting class for this season. Sean Bach from 247 Sports and Iowa Hawkeye Insider. We'll get a little preview on the Indiana-Iowa game tomorrow night. But before we get to all that, let's get to the headlines with Justin.
All right, here are your daily Hoosier headlines for this 6th day of February 2019. Indiana Pacers handed LeBron James the worst loss of his career last night in a 136-94 win. Yes, that is a 42-point loss for LeBron James and the Lakers. As Jim mentioned, today is National Signing Day as Indiana football looks to snag their final recruits. And in Big Ten basketball action last night, Michigan defeats Rutgers 77-65, and Illinois beats Michigan State 79-74. Those are your daily Hoosier headlines for this February 6th, 2019. For more information, make sure to check out thedailyhoosier.com.
A lot of games last night, big-time significance. You mentioned Michigan State go on the road to Illinois, and another loss. 3 losses in a row for the Spartans now. Fire Tom Izzo. He doesn't know what he's doing. He forgot what he's doing. He's terrible. Fire him. That's what Archie would be facing right now.
Yep.
But playing in the Big Ten is it's not for the squeamish. Now, Michigan State's going through a little problem right now. They lost Josh Langford. I don't feel sorry for him. Tough, but that's how tenuous things are, man. Things can change quickly.
Well, and Tim texted to the show, asked, 2 losses in a row to 3-7 Big Ten teams. Is Michigan State on their way to a 7-game losing streak?
I doubt it. But they've played themselves out of the Big Ten championship, I would say.
Yep.
Purdue is sitting in great. I hate to say it, but they're sitting in a great position because they've already played Michigan and Michigan State. I think they've got the easiest schedule for the rest of the season amongst the 3 at the top there between Purdue, Michigan, and Michigan State. I'd be hard pressed to see Michigan get knocked out of that. But stranger things have happened. How about Kansas? Their stranglehold on the Big 12 conference possibly coming to an end after 14 consecutive seasons of help from Adidas, as they lose last night to Kansas State. 6-4 now in conference play. When was the last time I know you don't have this answer, but I wonder when the last time Kansas was 6-4 in conference play. How long that's been.
You're right, I don't have that answer. However, I was thinking earlier, and I'm pretty sure the last 2 seasons they didn't lose 4 games in conference play.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think they've lost 4 games in conference play in a long time. But to be 6-4, to lose 4 out of their first 10, that hasn't happened in quite some time, I would say.
No.
Not with 14 straight conference titles. Thank you, Adidas. But with Adidas' help now sidelined, ironic how Kansas is being sidelined. Just a coincidence, I'm sure. It's just a coincidence that the guy that Bill Self sent the text to the Adidas executives thanking for their help is not playing because he's been ruled ineligible. Just a coincidence that because of all this, Kansas is not dominating like they were. Imagine that.
Sucking for Kansas standards.
Imagine that. Imagine it's just a coincidence, I'm sure. Michigan keeps rolling with a win over Rutgers. St. John's beat Marquette last night.
Yeah. Top 10 Marquette.
So two of Indiana's best wins took a loss last night. Luckily, Louisville with a big win. When was that, Monday?
Monday night, yeah.
They beat Virginia Tech at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is 11th, I think.
Yep.
That's a hell of a win.
They're the team that only allowed North Carolina State to score 24.
I think North Carolina State only allowed North Carolina State to score 24.
Yeah. You're right. They couldn't shoot.
But Chris Mack got a little flack. Mack gets some flack. Mack got some flack for his halftime interview with my TV crush, Allison Williams. But he didn't say it. It was like a third question. I think she asked, well, how was Virginia Tech able to do whatever they did to make that run or whatever? And he just simply said, they're one of the best teams in the country. Shrugged and walked off. I'm like, I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but.
I mean, it was kind of a jerk move. I mean, she asked him a specific question, and he gave no answer.
He gave a specific answer. They're one of the best teams in the country.
That doesn't tell you how they got back into it in the first half.
Well, first of all, maybe he doesn't want to give away competitive secrets, what I'm going to go in and change right now. Secondly, I got to be honest with you. If I'm a coach and I'm losing halftime or I'm pissed off or whatever, talking to the media is not what you really want to do. So I think you have to be understanding of that. But I just didn't think it was that big of a deal.
It was very Greg Popovich-esque.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
I didn't hate it. I'll let that.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah,
I've seen times where I thought it's like, that's a dick. That's a dick move there.
Yeah.
But it's true. I mean, they're one of the best teams in the country. What do you expect?
Right.
They should be doing that. They're at home. That's what he should have said. Well, they're one of the best teams in the country, and they're at home. They should be doing things well. It's up to us to make the adjustments. But oh well. How about the Pacers, man? What a beatdown they put on the Lakers. Did you say that was the biggest loss of LeBron James' career?
Yeah.
Wow. And it comes at the hand of a depleted Lakers team. A Pacers team. A depleted Pacers team without Victor Oladipo. And then, of course, the Lakers have been trying to work a deal with the eyebrow.
Did you see their deal yesterday?
I saw that the Lakers have pulled out.
Lakers offered a new deal yesterday. 6 players and 2 first-round picks for Anthony Davis.
And it wasn't good enough.
I think the Pelicans were intrigued by it. I don't think that trade anything has been said about yet. But
I thought that the Lakers had pulled out. The last I heard, because they wanted the moon in back.
I know the Lakers are not going to bid against themselves anymore, is what they came out and said.
Well, the last I heard, they had pulled out because they did not accept that offer, and it's like, the hell with you. You're stupid. We just gave you everything,
right?
And you're going to be dumb. You think somebody else is going to give this to you? No.
And it wasn't like it was 6 bad players either.
They don't want LA to have him. They don't want LA to have him. It's like that person who doesn't want somebody else to have their ex person they dated. Oh no, I'm going to tell them. I don't want them to have.
Tell them all the bad things.
Yeah, it's crap. Let him go. He didn't want to be there. You didn't build a championship around him. You had the opportunity. Now quit being a jackleg and let him go. They just gave you a deal of the century. A deal that you could build a program around. My God.
I was telling somebody yesterday, LeBron and Anthony Davis, 2 of the top 5 players in the league. You could make an argument 2 of the top 3 players in the league. How much else do they need? You got LeBron and Anthony Davis on the floor. You don't need much else around you.
Right now.
I really think Anthony Davis and LeBron could go out there 2v5 against some teams in the league.
The thing is, the Lakers could build for right now.
Yep.
And they could do it right now. New Orleans could build for tomorrow right now. Boom. Right off. The Lakers just said, hey, here you go. Here's your future. We want the now. LA wants it now. And they can build the now right now. For New Orleans, it's like, hey, here's your future. We're going to hand you your future in the roadmap for your future. starting now, they could take those players and work some trades off of that. And get the draft pick. My God, they could build up a great team. And they're pissing it away.
I mean, all you need is the 2 first-round draft picks. You don't even need the players. But
take the players and use them as trade bait.
Exactly.
That's the thing. They've got so many options with what was being presented to them. It's so dumb that they turned that down.
Gary texted into the show talking about what we were talking about a little bit earlier. He said NBA is the one who has the 19-year age limit.
Say it again.
NBA is the one who has the 19-year age limit.
Right.
So talking about the NCAA and
how
how it's...
well, I think it was I don't remember exactly why they did because it's stupid. If they did that for the NCAA, I don't remember why, but it needs to be gone.
I imagine they probably had to work together.
It's got to be gone. It's just got to go away. You'd think that, but you're talking about the NCAA. Remember,
it's true.
The organization that tagged USA basketball with responsibilities for these summer camps of which they knew nothing about. Hello, I forgot.
And ranking players.
I forgot. We're talking about the Muppets. They were expecting the Muppets to do that. Johnny Ballgame wants to know. I forget if it was you or me, but said that was a dick move. Can you say that on the air?
I don't know. I was wondering the same. Guess we'll find out later today.
It is. You can. It's a Richard move.
That you could say.
He said realized the government shutdown is over. Oh, Joker texted in that the thing that sucks about IU's recruiting class is that it's top 45, but number 10 of the Big Ten. Yeah, but talk about football. But the thing is, you're talking about at least 8 teams in the Big Ten. They're Michigan, Michigan State, Purdue, Penn State, Nebraska, Wisconsin. Boy, you could go on. There's a lot of major programs that's in front of Indiana. You're not going to displace, but you don't have to necessarily displace them. Be close. And while that 10th place is 10th mainly because it's Indiana, I'm going to guess that actually those last 4 slots probably pretty close. Probably a player different here or there, so it's not really as bad as it sounds in that regard.
Plus, it's just rankings.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think those last 4 spots, they're just jumbled. And since it's the name Indiana, you're going to get moved to the bottom of that because it's Indiana. My opinion. What? He sent me another text, and I can't. Let's just win another Big Ten title and extend that overall record as the school with the most. Then get a good seed and draw and cheer like hell. That's, I don't know if that's a Purdue text that he sent to me. Get another Big Ten title, which is all that they've ever won. Congratulations on those, by the way. It's very cute. Very nice. Successful. Hanging those conference banners. Hey, we got to take a break. We got a lot more coming up on the program today, like I said. Matt Weaver from Peaks.com. It's National College Football Signing Day. We're going to be talking about that. John Bach from 247 Sports in Iowa joins us later as well. Stay tuned. More coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat. Back right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Boyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat.
And I'm Justin Kalen with Indiana Sports Beat.
Justin, what's your favorite show?
It's got to be Indiana Sports Beat, but I'm not ever sure where to find it.
Well, you can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for it each and every day. Or, of course, on Big X Sports Radio, 1450, 96.1 WXVW in Southern Indiana, and 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become one in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Thanks a lot for joining us. Joined now by our good friend Matt Weaver from Peaks.com, as it is college football's National Signing Day. Matthew, how are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. How are you guys doing?
Good, good. No, there's not a lot of slots that Indiana has to fill after the early season portion of this, but there's some critical spots, and I see that they've got some commitments from some linemen, which could really be a great place for them to plug in right here.
Yeah, they've got 5 to fill. They obviously signed 19 in December, and then Jack Tuttle counts too, as far as, as a spot in the class. So 20 they filled, 5 left to go because they can take 25. Got the O lineman out of Pennsylvania over by a little bit north of Philly.
Is that your brother? Is it your brother?
Tim, yeah, no relation that I know of, Tim Weaver, but he's was a tackle in high school, athletic guy. Will probably be a guard. I think that's kind of how they see him when he gets to IU. But athletic guy, plays, moves well, physical. So should slot in there. You might be able to play him at right tackle in a pinch, but probably going to be a guard for you. So a good pickup there. And then they still got, obviously, with him, you got 4 spots, and we'll find out today. I mean, I expect him to get at least a couple more guys, and then there's a couple more that they're waiting on. So we'll see. They may not fill off all the last 4 spots today. They may have a couple left over, they do, it'll be interesting to see if they maybe look at the grad transfer market after spring ball or kind of what their next move is. But I think they'll at least get a couple more today, and maybe they can grab those last two guys as well.
I have to ask this. I think I know the answer to it, but does Indiana have any chance on landing DeJuan Jones?
All indications are he's probably going to pick Ohio State. I don't want to say there's no chance, but I would say it's not looking great there. It just seemed everything that I've heard is that it's I think Ohio State and Penn State are his top two, and it seems to be leaning towards Ohio State. So that's my guess. That's my prediction on where he'll go. But maybe you can pull a rabbit out of the hat, but I wouldn't get my hopes up there.
It doesn't surprise me. I mean, two great programs. He's a hell of an athlete. I was talking about him earlier. I first really learned of him last summer at the Junior All-Star game against the seniors, and he got called off the couch to come play in that game, and I was amazed at the footwork his dude had. He's such a big guy, 6'8", big kid, football player, and I'm like, wow, he can move, but they couldn't stop him down low, and I'm like, man, he would be great on the basketball team, whether you could bring him in for 5 minutes or not, but the dude's a great athlete.
Yeah, he is. I saw him play football this year, and I saw him last year, obviously, because I went and saw Ben Davis a bunch. They had Reese Taylor, and they would kind of rotate him in at tackle. He didn't play he wouldn't play every snap, but I mean, he was very easy to notice because he's just a massive human being. And he had really improved this year in football. Like it was eye-opening how much better he had gotten. And he's a good-looking prospect. I know basketball's kind of always been his first love, so it'll be, my thing with him always has been, he's good at football. My only concern with him would be, is his heart truly in football? But it seems to be, and wherever he goes, he's everything I've heard about him. He's a good kid, and so I hope he does well wherever he goes. Obviously, it'd be nice if it was Indiana, but even if it's not, I hope he has a good career.
Absolutely, Indiana they'd love to fill some spots on the O-line or on the line period with the commitment of Tim Weaver. That gives them one, but they're looking to land another big name or off this class for them. Who do you think is the most likely that they will land, but yet is not confirmed?
I think that their best chance at other lineman, they offered a guy yesterday that they had brought in this past weekend, a Darius Tolliver from Pratt. I think it's Prattville, Alabama. He's a big guy, 6'6.5", 6'6", 6'7", 330 pounds. So you got size there at length. Watching this video, he's obviously he plays physical for a guy his size, moves pretty well. Probably have to reshape his body a little bit. I mean, I don't think he's not like he's way fat or something, but you have to probably work a little bit on that. Good developmental prospect. I think they'll get him. He's not a ton of big offers. Now, what's interesting is one of his offers is from Fresno State. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, they really got in on him late, like here in the last couple weeks, as far as starting to talk to him and then got him to visit. I'm not sure if Kalen DeBoer was a part of that, or they heard about it from him, or I know they've got ties to Alabama with Kane Womack from his days down there at South Alabama, so they might have already known about him. But just kind of an interesting connection there. He was committed to Troy, and then Neil Brown obviously left and went to West Virginia, so he opened things back up. So I know there's some other big schools that are kind of sniffing around him. I've heard some rumors that Auburn could be looking at him as a potential guy if they somehow maybe miss on some guys. So, hopefully Indiana can get him locked up today. I feel pretty good about their chances to do that. So that right there is probably their best shot at adding another lineman. And then if they want to get a safety, I think they're going to get Josh Sanguinetti, high 3-star guy from South Florida, Fort Lauderdale. Be a really good get for him. And then the other two guys, Christian Williams, a D tackle from Memphis, and T.J. Jones, a receiver from Lake City, Florida, which is up in the northern part of the state, not too far from Tallahassee. He's down to Indiana and Penn State. Christian Williams is down to Indiana and Oregon. So we'll see. They're probably a little bit behind those two battles, but they're still there. I would say Christian Williams is probably the best out of the two for them to get. He'd be a really good get as a D tackle. So we'll see. Those are the two. I think they're going to get Sanguinetti and Tolliver today, and then Christian Williams and T.J. Jones we'll have to wait and see on.
And the way it looks with the recruits already coming in from this class and what we think that they'll get here, the worst case is they're going to come out of this okay. Not superb great, but the worst case is it's going to be okay. That'll work. They can plug in and actually be useful recruits. And so it looks like this class is going to be a pretty positive class overall.
Oh, yeah. And I know it's probably, for some fans, I mean, it's a little disappointing here at the end because they missed on some top guys. But I think the one thing to remember is, and it's not making excuses, this is just facts. You know, the linemen the old linemen that they wanted to get, I mean, if you look at it, you know, DeJuan Jones is probably going to go to, like I said, Ohio State or Penn State. Ira Henry, Auburn or Florida State. Kamar Bell, Auburn or Florida State. You know, if you miss out on Christian Williams, he's going to Oregon. If you miss out on T.J. Jones, he's going to Penn State. You know, so you know you're battling the big boys. I mean, and you know, is it a bummer if you miss on some of them? Absolutely. But the bottom line is, Indiana's recruiting has never been at this level where you're down to Indiana and Penn State, Indiana and Oregon, Indiana and Florida State and Auburn and those kind of schools. So, you know, obviously you got to start winning some of them, but that kind of comes with success on the field. But they're getting there, and the recruiting is just taking a monumental step under Tom Allen and his staff. I mean, it's really at a level that Indiana's never seen before.
Yeah, they've got like a top 40 class, and nationally, it's only 10th in the Big Ten, and I had a text earlier about that, but I'm like, yeah, but you have to understand, those 10 teams in the Big Ten, we're talking about Purdue, we're talking about Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State, Wisconsin, Nebraska, you can go on and on and on. And those last three slots are probably interchangeables, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's or a player difference in the ratings of that in the Big Ten. So I think that they're a top 10 class, but it's actually they're in a group of 3 or 4 there in that bottom middle section of the Big Ten, I think.
Yeah, and one thing I would tell fans, look at, everybody looks to the left at the rank, at what the number is, you know, where they are in the Big Ten or overall. Also look at the numbers to the right, whatever the point system, because it's really close. I mean, it's, you know, that you may be 10th, but like you said, it's literally maybe not even one player. I mean, you could be like 215 point something points, and then Indiana's 200. I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing numbers out, but 214 point something. I mean, it's that close. Here's the other thing: Jack Tuttle doesn't get counted in those ratings on our site on 247. But if you plug in a player who has his same rating that he had last year, Indiana goes from, I think they're 40th, they go to like 32 or 33. If they had a couple more guys, you're talking about this is so. In my opinion, while he doesn't count technically, I plug in a guy to see what it looks like with him because he's part of this class. He's their quarterback recruit. I mean, that's why they didn't go after anybody else. He's that guy. And they could potentially, if, you know, I was playing around with the class calculator on 247, could potentially, now it can change because other schools could add players, but you could be as high as 28th, 29th in the country and like 7th or 8th in the Big Ten. So, you know, I think that's the one thing people got to factor in. You got to consider Jack Tuttle in his class because he is. I mean, he's taken one of the spots, and while he doesn't count in the rankings, he's a part of this class. And to me, you know, I'm gonna kind of manipulate it to see what it looks like with him in the class with his ranking. And if you do that, this is at worst going to be low 30s, you know, 30 to 33, I think, depending on how their schools do. But you get a top 35 class, that's good. You've recruited really well.
Absolutely. I think it's a great point, Matt, to point out that, you know, Tuttle, he's a transfer, but he didn't play. He's never played. He's a freshman. So he's just like anybody else coming in. And I think that gives them that extra punch that people don't really realize that they're getting. They are moving up. This talent is better than what they have been getting. And I got to be honest with you, I'm excited about what DeBoer can do for this team, not just from a different philosophy offensively, but to just give that team a breath of life. They just didn't seem like they had a lot of life from the top down on that offensive side, and I think that's going to change wholeheartedly, and that goes all the way down to the linemen and everything, that this is a completely reinvigorated unit.
Yeah, I agree, and we kind of talked about it last week. We talked about them, but you know what really I think, you know, should be encouraging and exciting for fans is, his ability to go to a place and immediately impact it. Like I said, I think it's similar to what Tom Allen had done in his days as a D coordinator. He went to South Florida and immediately made South Florida much better defensively. Comes to Indiana and immediately with the same players. I mean, obviously he had some new recruits, but it's not like Indiana brought in a bunch of 5-star guys. He basically took the same players who were really bad before the year before defensively and made them a really solid unit. And I think that's what you're going to see. And the thing is, Kalen DeBoer's not walking into a situation where the talent level is not great. I mean, they've got quarterbacks, they've got running backs, they've got skill players, they've got you got tight ends he can use. He likes to use his offense. The key is the O-line, and you do have returning guys there. It's not like you're barren there. I mean, you've got some guys back who played a number of snaps. So if that unit comes through, I don't see any reason why offensively that they're not going to make some significant strides on that side of the ball.
I agree. And another thing comes up. Indiana's not accustomed to having a quote-unquote quarterback battle, and I think you're going to have that next year with Jack Tuttle and Michael Penix. Two very different quarterbacks, but two very, very obviously good ones because we saw just a glimpse of Michael Penix. We know what he can do and the arm he has, and we've heard nothing but great things about Jack Tuttle. That's going to be a hell of a battle for Indiana, something they haven't seen in quite a while since maybe Nate Sudfeld was a freshman.
Yeah, and I've actually, I've actually heard from somebody, a family member of an offensive player, and the description I heard of Tuttle was he's quote the real deal. So. They've been doing workouts. I mean, the coaches can't be there when they have a ball, but the players get together. And so I've heard good things about him. And obviously Peyton Ramsey's back as a starter, but I think we both expect it to be a Jack Tuttle, Michael Penix, a duel for that job. But having Ramsey will help push those guys because he is a veteran guy, even though he may be have a ceiling on what he can do physically. That he does have that experience, so he'll be part of the battle. But I've said it, to me this will be the first, to me, legit quarterback. You got two guys who can legitimately play, and really three. I mean, Ramsey, while he may not be everything you want, he has shown at times he can play. So you at least have three guys that you can put in there for some portion of the time. And it's the first time they've had this since when they had Sudfeld and Roberson and Cam Kaufman. I think that was, the 2013 season. I mean, ever since then, they've really never had a legitimate second quarterback who you felt like you could put out there and play for a long period of time or, for however long you needed them and still be really competitive. And I think now that they've got to that point, and kudos to the staff because the quarterback position has been an issue for about 5 years. Even when you had Nate, it was an issue because you had nobody behind him, and this staff has gone out and they fixed it within a year or two.
Yeah, and these are two very different types of quarterbacks. I mean, I know that it's not been portrayed that way, but I'd say that Michael Penix is much more of a dual threat, and Jack Tuttle is not that he can't run. That's not his game. He's more of a thrower. So you've got some differences there that can give different looks.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think Penix obviously a little bit better athlete. Like we talked about in the past, Tuttle can run. It's not. I don't think it's something that he's going to do a bunch. But you can still do some read option with him. You can do some stuff where he kind of puts the ball in the running back's belly, and if the D end dives in, he keeps it. He's not going to break off a 50-yard run, but he can get positive yards and get you some stuff on the ground. But his forte, like you said, his kind of bread and butter is sitting in the pocket and throwing the ball. He's accurate. Doesn't have Penix's arm, but he's got a good arm. Because Penix to me has got an arm that's on a whole different level. I mean, he's got a Nate Sudfeld type, where he can just fire the ball and then he can throw it through a car wash and it comes out dry kind of arm. I mean, it's special. And but that's not taking away from Jack Tuttle's arm because you watch his film, he can make every throw you need him to make. That in an offense, and so there's no problem there. And then, like you said, Penix can run, but he also can sit back. When we saw it, he can sit back in the pocket and make some throws too. So it should be fun. It should be fun to watch. And whoever wins that battle, I think it's going to be a legit victory as far as whoever wins that and is under center when they start the season in this fall.
Matt Weaver from Peegs.com. I can't thank you enough, man. Look forward to it, and we'll see how things lay out today.
Okay, thanks, guys. Take care.
You bet. Matt Weaver from Peaks.com joining us, talking to us about National College Football Signing Day as Indiana waits to see what they add to their already good recruiting class for this season. Stay with us. We got a lot more coming back. Sean Bach from 247 Sports Hawkeye Insider is going to give us a preview of the Indiana-Iowa game tomorrow night. Stay tuned. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle back with more right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat.
And I'm Justin Kalen with Indiana Sports Beat.
Justin, what's your favorite show?
It's got to be Indiana Sports Beat, but I'm not ever sure where to find it.
Well, you can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on Big X Sports Radio, 1450, 96.1 WXVW in Southern Indiana, and 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway.
Today's guest is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, with hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer. Pizza, burgers, beer. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Hope you're having a great day. Getting through this rain. Joined now by Sean Bach from 247 Sports Hawkeye Insider. Sean, how are you, man?
Jim, how you doing today? I'm doing all right.
Good, good. Looking forward to some fun basketball tomorrow night as the Big Ten is continuing to show how tough it is as Illinois knocked off Michigan State last night on the heels of Indiana beating Michigan State up in East Lansing, Iowa knocking off Michigan by 20. Some big wins by both of these teams. None needed more than the one by Indiana, I'd say. But these are two teams that are probably battling for some of the same ground right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. I mean, you look at Indiana's situation coming off that 7-game losing streak and getting that big victory against Michigan State, and then Iowa, who kind of had a little small skid of their own and really didn't have that signature win, and they finally got it on Friday against Michigan. So, yeah, I mean, Iowa's probably, if I had to guess, probably pretty solid in NCAA tournament position right now, but there's still a couple wins, a couple games that really could affect their kind of seeding, and same goes with Indiana. I mean, considering how much they've struggled, there's still some games on the table that they could win to get that signature win. I think this one's a big one also.
Yeah, and I've not, and it's not just Iowa, but I did notice Iowa's been building up some decent recruiting classes in the last couple of years as Fran McCaffrey is trying to build that program. Illinois, the big win last night. They've got a 5-star coming in. The Big Ten is showing no signs of weakening in a year where they are as good as they have been in my lifetime right now, and it doesn't look like it's going to slow down anytime soon.
Yeah, Iowa's class coming in is pretty strong. I mean, you have Fran's other son, Patrick McCaffrey, a 4-star kid who's been committed to Iowa for a while. really good player. People are saying he's got potential to be an all-conference player. And then Joe Toussaint, too, a pickup from New York area, 3-star guard, who a lot of Iowa fans are really excited about because, one, he can do stuff for you on the offensive end, and two, he's a lockdown defender, will guard the point guard full court. So a lot to be excited about for your Iowa. I mean, they got a couple big targets in 2022. I know they're looking at a couple guys in Indiana down in Lawrence Central. Nigel Pack's one of them, probably one of the best, if not the best guard in Indiana's 2020 class. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. Franz obviously got some big targets, as you guys saw. Was going after Trace Jackson-Davis and Keon Brooks for a while, but those really didn't pan out well. But, yeah, I mean, the Big Ten, it's always going to be good. Even when the teams it's always going to be competitive. Even when the teams aren't maybe as up to par as some of the years before, it's just always going to be a competitive league and a lot of fun to watch.
And and I don't mean this in a derogatory sense, but obviously Iowa had no chance to land a Trace Jackson-Davis or Keon Brooks in my mind. But to me, is that a recruit they have to go after just to show that, hey, we're recruiting on a national scene here?
Are you referring to Pack? Or what, the Trace Jackson-Davis and Keon?
Yeah, those type of players, which Iowa, to me, had no chance in hell of landing. But I think you have to recruit those players to show that or say that, hey, we're recruiting on a national level here, then we're on even par. I think they have to do that. Those are the kind of players I don't think that they're going to land. But not that they can't land good players. It's just I don't think you're going to come into Indiana and land Indiana's top 2 targets.
Yeah, I think it's just a thing where Iowa's pretty much trying to get established in the state of Indiana. Obviously, they have Jack Nunge from Castle, who grew up around the Iowa program when he was younger. But I mean, I think they're just trying to establish their connections in Indiana. I know even they've had Christian Lander, top 2021 guard, on campus, and a few other prospects that they really like, Anthony Leal, Trey Galloway. Do I think they really have best shots with them? I'm not sure. I don't think so, but I think it's still kind of just a battle because, I mean, there's a lot of talent in the state of Indiana. I mean, Iowa's got good high school basketball talent, but it's Indiana for crying out loud. They got the best of the best year in, year out, and there's just a lot of solid players that just know how to play basketball and that can all go to Indiana. That's kind of my saying with it. Not all those guys can go to Indiana or Purdue or Butler or one of those schools.
Notre Dame, or you could go on and on.
Yeah, Notre Dame also. But, it's just because there's always a guy or two that really is looking to play for a Big Ten school, and that'd be a good fit at Iowa. So, I mean, I think it's just in terms of just trying to get connected and really trying to just see if they can get maybe 1 or 2 guys out of the Hoosier State.
And getting Nunge out of Castle, to me, that was a good get. I didn't realize that I was down at the Indiana-Iowa game last year at Iowa when I first saw Nunge. I'm like, how the hell did they get him out of Indiana, down from Castle, like you said, Castle High School in Newburgh, Indiana. But that's a good get. He's a big kid, man. He was a big freshman shooting threes of, 6'11". That's a big dude, man.
Yeah, and he's redshirting this year also, so he kind of came up to Fran McCaffery at the beginning of the year. I think they kind of made a mutual decision with the coaching staff and his parents that, hey, you have a future Big Ten player in front of you with his size and kind of just his versatility. Decent on the defensive end, very good offensively, very, very skilled, inside, outside. Needs to add a little more weight to kind of be that dominant interior player, but with kind of the upside that he has, it makes sense that he sat this one out and gets another few years of eligibility. I mean, because then that just opens up for scholarships also for recruiting, kind of makes the recruiting, or closes down scholarships, so it kind of makes the 2020 and 2021 recruiting classes less hectic.
Talking to Sean Bach from Hawkeye Insider 247 Sports. What you mentioned a prior relationship with Jack Nunge in Iowa. What is that relationship?
With Iowa?
Yes, and Jack Nunge.
Well, I think Jack Nunge, he grew up, I don't have the exact story in front of me, but he grew up around Iowa. I think he lived there for a few years, kind of one of the neighboring cities around here, or towns around here. Knew Fran McCaffery for a while. They kind of I don't know if they really saw the potential right away in him, or they kind of just saw him shooting baskets outside, but he's a good player. They kept tabs on him throughout his high school career on the AAU circuit. I know he was the same age as Franson Connor, so the two kind of played against each other during the AAU, and Fran just like, hey, I think you're a good pick. I think Nunji, I'm not sure how great his offer list was. I think he was kind of a mid 3-star level type player, but had a really good high school career and a lot of stuff that he brings to the table. Great shooting, as we talked about. Really just a really solid all-around player, and I think that in the end, he kind of thought that, hey, Iowa City's home. I mean, I grew up there. I loved it there, that I'm going to come.
But it's given this team new life. It's given them life, period, which they didn't have. And I'm sure that Iowa would have rather faced the team prior to that Michigan State win than the one that they're going to be seeing tomorrow night.
Yeah, Fran McCaffrey jumped on Dan Dockett's show yesterday, and Dan asked a question like, hey, would you rather face a team coming off a loss or coming off a win? And McCaffrey, interesting enough, said coming off a win, which, I mean, makes sense because, I mean, I got a team with more motivation coming in after a loss or maybe even after a win, too. It kind of all depends. But in general, he said, I don't really know how I feel going against Indiana at Simon Scott Assembly Hall because that's going to be a ruckus environment now with Indiana finally getting on the right note, especially with a huge win at Michigan State. But I mean, this Indiana team, they're gonna be tough. I think a lot of it depends on the status of Juwan Morgan. I know that his injury is not as serious as they previously thought he were because I was watching the game on Saturday and I was like, oh man, that doesn't look too good because I know that was the shoulder that he messed up. He had problems with previously in his college career. But I think you just look up and down this Indiana roster, and while they're not the biggest team, they just got a lot of good weapons. I mean, Morgan, too, if he's healthy, Romeo Langford. Now that Deron Davis, he could possibly make an impact. I'm not sure if that's going to be a one-hit wonder type game, but I think it's going to be kind of just another staple of, hey, this guy can still play. This guy's solid. He can contribute. Justin Smith probably had his best game in an IU uniform. Al Durham hit a couple big shots. Devontae Green played decent. I mean, they just got pieces around just everyone that can kind of hurt you on any given night, and I think that's what's going to make them so dangerous is, I mean, yes, they have the superstar in Romeo Langford, a possible NBA player in Juwan Morgan, but they just got so many other guys that can hurt you. We saw it. Deron Davis can step up. Justin Davis can step up. On any given night, those guys can give in, and I think that's what makes this Indiana team so much better than they were because I think they kind of realize now that we don't have to have Juwan and Romeo really just carry the load. We can kind of carry, and when we contribute and we kind of help in, then we're going to be a much better team, and I think they kind of realized that a little bit on Saturday.
Yeah, I think that's key that they finally did realize that because they did get production from the guys that they needed to all along, and they weren't getting it. They weren't getting great production out of Justin Smith or Rob Finney. They were doing okay, but nothing spectacular. And, of course, the big difference to me was Deron Davis, who I didn't expect him to even play. I thought he was going to be parked for another couple of weeks after he's struggling with injuries. But, man, he came out and gave 25 great minutes of basketball like we thought that he could play, like he showed last year against Marvin Bagley and Duke and those kind of games. And if he can give that kind of effort, this is going to be a completely different team because it will allow Romeo and Juwan Morgan to open up a little bit. And Justin Smith, you add those guys. Devontae Green played very well. You had three big three-point shots. They hadn't been getting that. So, again, I think that Fran McCaffrey would probably be right on a lot of times, but this is not the time, I think, to catch Indiana coming off of a win because I think this win is going to give them the confidence they have been lacking, very much so.
Yeah, totally, I agree. And I think one thing with confidence, too, I think Deron Davis having a big game comes at a really good time because you look at Iowa's lineup, Tyler Cook, Luka Garza, I would argue that that's probably the one or two top front court duo in the Big Ten. Garza's been phenomenal lately. Cook's kind of been on and off a little bit. I mean, he was injured for part of January, missed a couple of games, but he's kind of a guy that can put up 20 points on you just like that. Not really the most outside perimeter-oriented type player. He's more of a guy that can hurt you inside with his post, kind of banging down low, physical, very athletic, very good footwork. But with a guy like De'Ron Davis stepping up, I know he's not going to give you 25, 30 minutes every night. I mean, he gave you, 25 against Michigan State, which is a lot for him, considering kind of the health issues he's gone through this year in his past. But I think De'Ron Davis stepping up will really be huge for IU, because I think if he wasn't really able to go or kind of struggled a little bit, that I would really have that big mismatch down low, especially if Juwan Morgan's not 100%, because, I mean, you got guys like Garza, Cook, and even Ryan Kriener, who played a really good game against Michigan at 15 and 10. You got those three guys that can really beat you down low, and if Indiana didn't have that presence in Davis and Morgan, then that could spell a lot of trouble. But with De'Ron coming along, I think that's definitely going to help. Juwan, it all kind of depends. I think that matchup right there, Juwan Morgan and Tyler Cook, if Juwan can go, will be really fun to watch. Two Missouri guys going at it. Both kind of similar type players, and they're 6'9", 6'8", pretty athletic. Morgan's more of an outside threat than Cook is, but just the two, that'd be a fun matchup down low. That'd be a really fun one.
Well, I'm certainly looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing the action tomorrow night at Simon Scott Assembly Hall. It's a 9 o'clock tip Eastern time, 8 o'clock Central. Sean Bach from 247 Sports Hawkeye Insider. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, Jim. Have a good one.
You bet, man. Thank you very much. That's Sean Bach from 247 Sports of Hawkeye Insider. Brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, and beer. Great place to catch that game tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. So head out to Bubba's 33 and check that out. Been a good show on the program today. We had Matt Weaver. It was National Signing Day for college football. A lot going on today, so stay tuned. You can check out, keep up with the actions, who signs, who doesn't sign, all over the place. It's not just Indiana. It's everybody seeing what they can get done. And as this February 6th College Signing Day comes about, to see what the rest of the season is going to be like. So it's going to be very interesting. And then again, tomorrow night, Indiana's taking on Iowa. You can hear that game right here, of course. That game tip-off is at 9, so it's Eastern time. Pre-game show, Don Fisher will start at 8 Eastern time, 7 Central, of course, so make sure you check that out. But it's a game that Indiana definitely needs a win. I think that they're in the right position finally to get that done, and we'll certainly see what life is like back at Assembly Hall for the Hoosiers after coming off that big win over Michigan State, who took another loss last night, unbelievably, at Illinois.
Maybe we'll have some DeJuan Jones news tomorrow.
Oh, we will, one way or another. We're going to find out where the big man is going. I said, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be Indiana. Matt said he's probably leaning towards the Ohio State Buckeyes, and you can't blame him. A great program that is. But we'll certainly will have DeJuan Jones news tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Don't see he's going to play in much basketball, though. But wouldn't mind seeing him in the uniform on the court. That would have been fun. But that's that. That's going to wrap it up for us. For Justin Kalen, I'm Jim Coyle, and I will see you on the radio.